Hello, Elizabeth. You are the author, I am the alien, and it is pouring. It is currently raining beautifully, absolutely wonderful. It's absolutely gorgeous outside. So I'm gonna go on a bit of a walk while I explain this video. I have zero energy because of a couple of reasons. One, this week has been very eventful. Two, we are starting a new sugar-free paleo diet thing, and our body's gonna need to readjust, so I'm exhausted. Other reasons, I just finished the last assignment for school I've got. Didn't do great, got a 70. Not really happy with it, but whatever. Live and let live. Or a slightly more likely live and let learn. I will do better next time. But the things I did this week, oh my gosh, it's been so busy and so many really cool things have happened. First of all, well, I'll just let me tell. So in a stunning turn of events, I find myself in Washington, D.C. again.
It's my pleasure to introduce the one and only Neil himself, Neil Gaiman.
Thank you all so much for coming, and apologies for any of you who are going to have to go through war-torn zones to get home tonight. So, before we started, a lot of you filled out questions. Not all of these questions are going to get answered.
You probably know the origin story of how Gaiman had showed Terry Pratchett like a small, like the first 1,000 words. And then he really wasn't doing anything with it. Then, one day he got a call or a letter from Terry basically saying, hey, that idea, are you going to do anything with it? And he said, no. Okay, either sell me the book or write it with me. And he said, it's a bit like Michelangelo asking, hey, you want to do a ceiling? So yeah, and he was talking about how, because Neil Gaiman was, what's the word? For night, wake, day, sleep. Nocturnal. Because Neil Gaiman is nocturnal, he'd always be waking up near midnight, and he'd have on this answering machine, Neil, I've written the next good bit.
And then it was a mad dash to get to the next good bit before the other one. We wrote the Romans in about 9 weeks. And then it took us about 16 weeks to do the second draft, which took it from a book called William the Antichrist to a book called Good Omens. And we would muck around with each other's stuff. Actually, I've got a copy of it here. And had not read any bits of Good Omens in public for about 25 years. And then when Terry died, I read this bit. I think I'll read it today. And this is all me, except for half a line of Terry's, which makes it perfect. And when I get to the end, I'll tell you which the half a line was, because when I read it out before and I told them, my Twitter feed was just filled with people going, okay, awesome.
I'm going to make him reading this chapter a whole separate video. I'm going to add this intro to it. Because I don't want to, I don't want this video to get too long. So, the next thing, the big thing that happened, was I, with Nick, saw Avengers Age of Ultron. Here are our thoughts. So, I just saw Age of Ultron with Nick, who you saw in the video about the baseball game. And he is returning to share his thoughts on Avengers Age of Ultron.
It was awesome.
Was that all you were going to say? You were like, there are things I want to say about the movie. You just wanted to say it was awesome?
Well, you have other things that you probably should cover first.
Fair point. I'm not going to spoilers. I'm going to do a full review later. But I honestly didn't think it was going to be as good. I came out thinking, this is awesome, and my dad was like, it's just another Marvel movie, and they're good. And I was like, no. I mean, I'll go into the actual review. There are some things that elevated this beyond the normal Marvel movie. But part of it is just that they keep this hype, and they make every movie just as good, if not better than the last one. So see it. It's really, really good. Better than the first one. Then, my ceiling fell in. Yes! My ceiling at the basement fell in. You see, we were doing a whole bunch of cleaning, and we were setting up for a big Cub Scout event, and someone, namely my mom, forgot to turn off the sink. So all of a sudden, my friend is downstairs, and she screams. And we hear, leak, leak! And all of a sudden, my dad's in my room, because he just got home, and he's like, Joseph, get downstairs, now! And it's flooding. Really, really flooding. There isn't a ceiling. Yep. You see the big dehumidifiers? And look, there's the ceiling. Fell in. So, into town came my grandmother, who is like me in many ways in the fact that to her, patience is a curse word, and when she wants to get something done, you're sure as that gonna get done. To add on to it, the bugs are coming. Well, Elizabeth, terrifyingly, that's not smoke and that's not clouds. That's swarms of bugs. And they're everywhere. But on the bright side, Rocket Raccoon! Look at that little raccoon. With its bandit mask and its stripy tail. I gotta get this camera inside before it gets waterlogged.